and comprehend the demographics of change, did not understand the change of demographics. Mubarak, when he came to power, the average age was 72. The mortality rate was 353 out of 1,000. When he left power, the age profile had come down to 31, and the mortality rate had fallen from 353 to just 28. The demographics had changed it, and the leadership had not grasped it. And therefore, if India is getting younger and younger and younger, and politicians are not grasping it, and if we are not able to provide skills to our young Indians, you will have a huge problem. And therefore, the biggest thing we can do is to provide skills, and there's nothing better than training our people for engineering or IT, or this is the best thing we can do. We are creating a skill force for the world. We are not only creating a skill force for India, which India needs. And if you have to grow at rates of 9 to 10%, let me assure you, India cannot grow without giving respect to its civil engineers. India cannot grow without giving respect to its engineers. India cannot deliver this till we are not able to design and deliver on ground. You know, and those are issues which are issues of engineering. These are issues of perfection in designing and engineering, and that can only be delivered on ground. And therefore, to my mind, what India needs is something which we've not given adequate respect to, and that is a very vast field of engineers who can bring in multidisciplinary skills on ground. And without that, India cannot create infrastructure for tomorrow.
I have a
Yeah, sir.
Hello.
hello. I have a question.
Please.
Yeah.
Can I-
My question is today my observation is mostly this urbanization is also kind of not considering totally the environment. If you take into consideration Chennai, like so many trees have been cut off because of road expansion. And what I see as a kind of a highway expansion throughout state highways or national highways, whatever beauty we had, like whatever trees and everything like has been cut down. So what kind of initiatives or how this can be addressed? Because that's going to have a major impact on our state.
So what you're saying is very true, very correct. That, what happens is that retrofitting in today's world becomes very difficult. It's very difficult to do retrofitting, and when you do retrofitting without good planning, the problem in India is we get into execution too fast. We get into execution without planning and designing. To my mind, a project which is going to take 5 years, you must spend 3.5 years on planning and designing. The Indian embassy in Tokyo was to be executed by this Japanese contractor, to be delivered in 5 years' time. The Japanese architect and the master planner went on planning. He planned it to the last nail. And the Indian ambassador in Japan said, you can never deliver. He said, you're too theoretical, you can never deliver, because for 4 years, 2 months, he kept planning and designing. He said, you are a miserable failure. He wrote to the government of India that we should throw out this guy. And he said, cancel his contract, bring in a new architect. 4 years, 2 months passed, 10 months left, he started work, he delivered 1 month ahead of schedule. So, the key to infrastructure is planning and design. If you don't plan to the last nail, you're going to mess it up. And the more you mess it up, the more messier and messier it will become. And India has mastered the art of taking planning and execution at the same time. So we keep planning, we keep executing, we keep messing. So all that I'm saying is, and I tell you, we must learn this even from a country like China, which is not a great country. China has lost bridges, it has had a train accident. But let me tell you, it has created great engineering companies. It has created great design. You go to Tongji University of China, great in designing, brilliant designs. They send out their team to the best universities of America, master the art of architectural designs. And we must lay focus on planning and design to the last, and then not allow any policy. Here we make master plan, next day the new CM will come, will change the master plan. He will turn housing into green and industrial into housing and start making money out of it. What is this? So we must bring in a sense of discipline. You know, we as a nation must build character and we must build in discipline, and that must permeate all sections.
Yeah, sir.
I have one question. Amit, here.
Sir, I will like to add to his points only. I have failed to understand from where we have learned this art of mismanagement and misplanning. Just take example of Delhi Metro. From morning 6:30 to evening 6:30, 7:30, late hours, it's really it's a chaotic at near New Delhi railway station and other area nearby those sectors. Why we fail to visualize even 4 or 5 years requirement? Do you have any reason for this?
No, see, let me first of all also tell you that let's not run down everything in India. Huh? We must be proud Indians. We must have a sense of pride in our country. And let me tell you, we have done a lot of things the right way. And Delhi Metro is a great example of good construction and outstanding delivery. Now, there are a lot of outstanding projects. You know, I traveled the other day from Delhi to Agra on this new expressway which has been created by JPs. Let me tell you, 85 minutes I was in Agra, which used to take me 5 hours. Now, what does this expressway do? It opens up a completely new area of growth. It demonstrates the excellence which India can do. India has the capacity, it has the capability, it has outstanding engineers, project managers, and India will deliver. Why should India not deliver? We must get our act together. And therefore, there are a number of outstanding projects which are being delivered. The issue in India simply is that there is a huge backlog of infrastructure. We have not concentrated on infrastructure for the last 4 to 5 decades simply because we were overwhelmed by our problems of poverty, of agriculture, of produce, of famine, of drought. And therefore, we've addressed those issues and we are moving into infrastructure. And therefore, I said that the next 3-4 decades, we must confront this challenge of infrastructure. And that will drive our growth. But to say that everything is bad, I don't agree. India has delivered enormously well in several areas, and we must continue to strive for excellence. And India will strive for excellence if you have good young project managers like all of you.
Thank you, sir. We have time for just one last question.
Have one,
Mr. Pichai on the front row, please.
excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, please.
I have a last.
Lady, yeah, please.
Mr. Kant, you're a very motivating speaker, a very positive personality, rather, I must say, because you showed us that India is going to progress and it will be incredible India.
No, the challenge is to make, challenge as I keep saying is really to make incredible India into a credible India.
Right, but while you were talking, there were some points that I was listening to, and maybe these are some concerns of a few project managers as well as a common man. You mentioned that you have one of the best teams that you're working with. You mentioned that there is a problem or issue of land acquisition because of political parties and so on. Can you tell me one thing? When a project manager is at site, he's the one who's executing the project. And he has several concerns about management not supporting. What do you think should be the management role here? Do you think the project manager is right? One. Second is regarding the approvals, the permissions, the regulations and all that stuff, which takes a very long time. You said we should see to it that all these approvals are taken in advance. Is it really so easy with the projects or infrastructure projects that we are working with, that approvals are easy and it would not be leading to corruption? I'm only talking about your project that you're handling.
Yeah.
And we also say project manager should be the CEO, he should be the owner, he should be the profit center. How do you think you, as one of the CEOs, would help a project manager here?
Very good questions. First of all, let me tell you that within India, while land is a very contested issue, there are some very, very innovative approaches which have been followed by different states across India. So if you were to look at the model of town planning in Gujarat, it's a remarkable model of town planning where people who own land actually become partners in the process of development, and their values shoot up enormously, but they give a certain area for infrastructure projects. So I would request that some of you should study this process of town planning, and to my mind, that's a huge model which should be implemented all over the country. In Rajasthan, when they did acquisition for this Mahindra World City, actually they built houses in interaction with the farmers. And they allowed the farmer to stay on the first floor, and on the ground floor, they said you can rent it out for commercial purposes. So you create a source of livelihood and you create a source of housing.